So today we're going to be doing a little smoked meatloaf. I'll get into what's going into it here in a minute once we get inside. I just wanted to get out here and show you what we've got going on. It calls for a kind of a smoked, charred poblano pepper. So that's what I'm doing out here right now, getting that ready. Once that poblano pepper gets all charred up real nice, we'll get inside, throw all the ingredients together. We can kind of see how I go through making this meatloaf. It's going to be kind of an atypical meatloaf. We're going to be using ground bison in it and a little bit of chorizo. So it's going to have a little bit of that American slash Mexican feel. It's going to be a good meatloaf. We'll let this poblano get all charred up, get inside and mix it up. So here we are back inside. We got that poblano pepper. You know, it's really got a nice char onto it. What we're going to do is we're going to peel the skin off that poblano. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these onions. I chopped up 2 celery ribs, a whole onion, and 3 cloves of garlic. We're going to put them in the skillet, take them outside, throw them on the pit boss, let them saute a little bit, get kind of soft. Then we'll bring them back in here and throw them all together in our meat. So, you know, right here we're fixing to just get these veggies in here. Alright, got the veggies in the pan. Gonna go ahead and throw a little bit of olive oil in there with them. We're just gonna take those out to the grill, let them get all sauteed up, kind of let them get soft, and then like I say, we'll come in here and throw it all together, show you how it's done. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, punch the like button. This is what we're doing today. Little Mexican smoked meatloaf. You know, stuff you can do in your backyard. Alright, so here we are. We've got everything prepared up. We got the veggies all sauteed up. We got the bison here. Got a little bit of chorizo that we're going to put into it. Got the spices and some breadcrumbs and a little bit of egg. So here we go, we're just going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and put these veggies in there first. We're just kind of spreading them out. That pan is still super hot from being on the grill. So, you know, I can't really grab a hold of it because that sucker's boiling. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our bison in here. We're going to want to kind of crumble it up. You know, just kind of let it get in to the veggies here. And what I'm doing, this is 2 pounds of bison. So basically what my meatloaf is going to be, it's 2 pounds of bison and about a ½ pound of chorizo. So it's going to be about a 2.5 pound meatloaf once we're done with it. Let me just go ahead and mix this all together. I like to go ahead and mix my sauteed vegetables in with my meat before I add anything else to it. You know, I kind of like to do it in a little bit of a process. That chorizo is pretty fat. You know, it's got a lot of fat in it, so it kind of sticks together real good. So you want to make sure that you break all that chorizo up real good, so you don't just have chorizo, you know, spots in your meat. You want it blended throughout the bison. Alright, so we've got the veggies all mixed together with the ground meat and the chorizo. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some seasonings. If you want to know what's in the seasonings, I'm not going to go into that in the video, but if you want to know what's in them, leave a comment, ask me, you know, I'll put them in the comments in this video. All our seasonings in there. Got the veggies. Next thing I'm going to do is come in with some breadcrumbs. And I did about a cup of breadcrumbs. I think that's going to be sufficient, you know, to mix it all together. I think it's going to work well to hold the meat. And then I did some eggs here. And I'm just going to kind of go and feel on the eggs. I did 3, but basically I'm just going to pour some in there, mix it around, and kind of see how it feels. See if it's kind of feeling like a loaf should feel. You know, you don't want to put too much egg in there. because then you have to come back and either add more breadcrumbs or more meat or something like that. You want it to just have enough egg in there just to kind of help hold it together. So, we're going to go ahead and mix that on up, kind of see what we're looking at as far as the way it kind of feels, and if you can make a loaf out of it. Because doing it out there on the smoker, I'm not going to be using the loaf pan. I'm just going to make the meatloaf into a loaf, and then we'll just put it out there on the smoker. So you want it to hold it together a little better than your normal meatloaf. Alright, so that, to me, that seems like it's about right. It's got a good consistency of the loaf. I think we can make a loaf with that. I don't think I need the rest of the eggs, because it feels like it's got enough in there to make it work. So we're gonna go ahead and kick all this stuff out of the way. Alright, so the next step in this process is I'm gonna take this Ziploc bag, and that's what I'm gonna stuff my meat into. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna stuff that meat into this Ziploc. Let that Ziploc help to form it into a loaf, and then I'm gonna put that in the fridge for about 30 minutes before I put this out there on the smoker. So we're gonna go ahead and just throw the meat mixture in this bag here. Alright, so now then that I've got it all in the bag here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and force this down into a loaf in this bag here. I just want to take all the air out of the bag, make sure and work that meat all the way down into the bottom, make it into a round loaf. And then we're going to take and throw it in the fridge for about 20 to 30 minutes, to kind of let it harden up just a little bit to help it kind of stay together while it's cooking out there on the smoker. So, yeah, that's kind of the way I want it to look. We've got our good loaf going on in there, so I'm going to go ahead and zip up the bag. Like I say, take all the air out of it that you can. You don't want any air in the bag. So here it is. This is our meatloaf. We're going to stick that in the fridge for, like I said, about 30 minutes. This is what we're doing today. We're going to be doing some smoked meatloaf. Stay with me, because I'm going to do a sauce here in a minute. I've got a sauce that I'm going to make out of some chipotle and Adobe pepper. That's what I'm going to use for the sauce. So stick around. We'll get this in the fridge. Check back here in a minute. Alright, so we've had the meatloaf in the fridge for about 20 minutes. And it feels pretty solid. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and we're just going to cut this bag off. Because basically all I did with that was just use it to help make a loaf out of this meatloaf. So we don't need the bag anymore. We're going to get rid of it. There's our loaf there. We're going to go ahead and take and transfer it over to our grill mat. There we go. We got the loaf ready to go. We're going to get that thing out there on the grill. I'm going to be running smoke, for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Then I'm going to crank it up. But we'll go through all that once I get into it. But here we have it. This meatloaf. We're going to get it out there and throw it on the grill. Alright, so here we are outside. I've got the grill set up on my smoke setting on my Pit Boss. That's what I'm using. The smoke setting generally runs me about 190 degrees. So I'm going to run smoke on this thing. I've also got my amazing pellet tray in there providing a little extra smoke. Got my probe set up in my meatloaf. We're just going to let it rock and roll. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cook it to about 140 maybe 135 on the smoke setting, and then I'm going to crank it up. I'm going to come out and sauce it. And then I'm going to crank it up to about 300, 350, kind of help caramelize the sauce, finish it off. We're going to pull this baby at 160, 165 degrees. That's where we want to take it off at. So stay tuned. We got some smoked meatloaf here. It's just a waiting game now. If you're looking, you ain't cooking. All right, so here we are. We're about 2 hours into the cook. Like I said, I've been running about 190 to 200, just straight smoke, basically is what I've been pouring to this meatloaf. Our internal temperature on the loaf right now is like about 124, so I think that's good for me to go ahead and crank it up. So we're gonna turn the temp up to 300 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some sauce on here. If you want to know what's in this sauce, you know, let me know in the comments below. I'll put the ingredients in the comments. It's an Adobe Pepper Sauce. You know, that meatloaf is looking real good. You know, it's got a nice color on the outside of it. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna coat it with this sauce pretty heavy. And my hope is that cooking at 300 degrees that this sauce is gonna kind of caramelize on the meat, you know, and kind of form a caramelization effect, you know, for whenever we eat it. So just go ahead and, like I said, I'm just gonna pile this stuff on there. I'm not gonna be stingy with it at all. You know, this is a little messy. I've got that grill grate underneath there to kind of help with the mess, but you know, cooking meatloaf out on your grill is gonna be messy. There's just no way around it. Unless you want to put it in a pan, you know, you could use an aluminum pan to help catch some of the juices, but I don't see the point of that. You know, I just like to put the rub on the meat, let the meat and the smoke do its thing without adding any extra to the process. So there we go. That looks pretty good. And like I said, we're gonna let that rock and roll for, I don't know, maybe another 30 minutes to an hour. Like I said, we're looking for an internal temperature of about 160. So once we get there, doesn't matter how long it takes, but once we get there, we're good to go. We're doing a Tex-Mex style meatloaf out here. Grilling and smoking, smoking and grilling, stuff you can do in your backyard. All right, so here we are. This meatloaf's been on here for, I don't know, 3 hours maybe. I don't know, I didn't really check the time. But you know, we're setting it 160 degrees. The average on it's about 163. That's pretty much perfect as far as I'm concerned for meatloaf. We're gonna get this meatloaf inside and get it sliced up. All right, so here we are. We got that meatloaf off of there. We went ahead and let it rest for a little bit. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a slice off of here, just to kind of show you what it's gonna look like out on your plate. Got the plate here. Piece of that meatloaf. Throw that on there. As you can tell, it's got a nice color. It's not real dried out. This is gonna be some good dinner. So, you know, this is what we're doing today. Smoked meatloaf with a little bit of a twist out here on our back deck. Stuff you can do out on your back deck.